All right. Well, little technical difficulties right there, but we did get it figured out. Um, Not the first time, so don't even sweat it. Uh, but yeah,
Okay.
how you been?
I've been good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Thank you for asking. You're the second person to ever ask that question. But yeah, no, super curious. I'm really glad that you agreed to come on. I think your running career so far has been like it's really interesting. I think everybody's has kind of an interesting story, but yours goes back a while. Like you've been running a good minute. Um, and so I do want to talk about that. But first, I always like to kind of get to know you a little bit more. Um, what are some hobbies like outside of running that you kind of gravitate towards?
Well, I ride horses and I have a horse. She's been in my family for a really long time. Like she's old. She's like 30. But I do ride horses. That's like my main thing. When I'm not running, usually most of my spare time is spent at the barn. And I also like to read and go to the beach and stuff, hang out with friends.
Wow, that's pretty cool. We had a girl on who lives on a farm, so I think that's kind of like the closest thing to riding
Yeah.
horses per se. But that's pretty cool. How long have you been doing that for?
I think I was on a horse before I could walk. So
Oh
a
wow,
while. Yeah.
wow. Okay, yeah, that's like literally growing up with that your whole life.
Yeah.
Um, how did you get started in running? Because obviously, we can kind of see far back to like middle school days, but like, is that
Yeah.
kind of where it started, or like elementary?
I actually ran my first season of track with a club team in my town, Cape Fear Flyers, when I was in second grade. So I was 8 years old, about to turn nine. I got into it because my brother had already done a full year of it. He's 2 years older than me. But I went through, like, when I was younger, I basically copied every sport that he did. Like, he did lacrosse for a while. I did lacrosse, and he did soccer, and I did soccer. We both did swimming together. We both tried tennis. But running was really just the one sport that we both tried that just kind of stuck, especially with me. So I just did that a lot more consistently after the first year. And I just started to realize that, like, I wanted to do that. So I quit soccer after a few seasons and I just focused on running from then.
It's so funny how like it's almost like written in like stone for like runners to have previously like played another sport, and it
Yeah.
always is like soccer, and they just gravitate towards
Yeah.
running full time. I always find that like so interesting. Like what, like was soccer just not? I mean, it's so fun. It's fun to play. It's kind of weird to like because people hate running. You know what I mean? Like people hate running. So it's kind of weird to like gravitate towards it, but like you just fell in love with it, or like what was it that kind of made you gravitate towards it more?
Well, I do think it takes a special kind of person to want to like run for fun. But I had been doing soccer. I was on a little rec team. So I was our like goalie. So I didn't get much like actual playing time. Like I wasn't like in the game. I was just the goalie. And when I was running, I felt like I was getting all the attention, like 8 year old me was like, oh, I'm winning on my own. Like, I can do this on my own and this can be my thing. Also, the soccer world is like really full. Like, there's a lot of people that do soccer and try to go far with it. Like, a lot of people I know play soccer and it's such a full, like, sport. So
Yeah,
I think that's a main reason why a lot of people tend to gravitate towards running.
yeah. When you say like again started at such a young age, and then did the winning or like did it just come natural to you? Do you think is that kind of like why it kind of made the transition even easier? It was kind of just like almost imprinted in your DNA to like become a runner eventually.
Yeah. Well, both of my parents met in college when they were both on the running team. So I do have a running background in my family. Um, and yeah, I mean, after like the first track season, when I did cross country that first year, I just like fell in love with it and it did feel kind of it came very natural to me at such a young age. But I was just like very dedicated to improving from such a young age. And it's not something you see a whole lot in these younger kids, but I do see it occasionally. But yeah.
Yeah, and that's so cool too because I was just talking to somebody and they mentioned how they were so excited to do cross country. And that's something you don't really hear too much because like a lot of people
Yeah.
they don't look at cross country as just like the sport that they want to do or like most people want to do. And so yeah, like seeing that kind of excitement kind of start at an early age and really have obviously made it to where you are today. I want to talk about the 24 cross country season. Um, very consistent, very consistent 18-minute girl. And then you look at the 17:23.
Yeah.
And for people who who would say, "Oh, that's just a fluke. You only ran it one time." If you look, and I looked because I'm gonna do some digging. I looked. That was not a fluke at all. It's not like every girl PR'd by over a minute and all that. Like if you look at the times and I pulled up profiles and went through and it's like, no, like they're pretty much, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 down the row ran if it was a PR it was by a little bit and if it
Yeah.
wasn't a PR, it wasn't like it was far off. Um so there was like it was a race. Like walk me through that. Was that just something that you knew was coming up, like you were just due for a really huge breakout race, or like where did that kind of come from?
So I've always been kind of that runner that like I will run consistently and then I'll have one race where I just like blow it out of the water. Um, and that was our like home high school course, and though it is really flat, it is a full 3.1 mile race. So it's a valid time.
Yeah,
Though a lot of people are suspicious about it,
really.
it was full 5K. Yeah. But
But see, I push back though because it's like, again, if you I think people would look at that and be like, yeah, like it has to be short. But it's like if you look at times, like you look at everybody else, like it's
mhm,
it's actually legit.
yeah. But I had been running consistently, like you said, just in the low 18s, and I'd been training all season to run sub 18. It's just the day never had quite come for me. So coming into our conference meet, I knew that this was probably going to be my last good opportunity to PR, because after that it was just regionals and states. And regionals, I never really done good at Wake Med. Never really had a great race there. And states is always, I know that it's going to be a tactical race. So I was like, all right, conference, we have to PR. It's going to happen today. I've been trying for months. It's going to happen. This is my last chance. So I was running by myself the whole time, just me and the clock, basically, clicking off my pace. At every mile, I had my dad at every mile marker calling out my time. And I mean, with a mile to go, I was like, I have it. Like, I have it. I'm ahead of pace, but I didn't quite realize like how far ahead I was until I came to the finish and I saw my time. I was like, oh my gosh. But it was crazy. I was not expecting that out of myself. I was expecting like a 1740 range. But I mean, yeah, that was huge for me.
Yeah, 17:23 definitely puts you in another category. I think like when you run sub 18 for the first time, even 17:59, you kind of separate yourself just a little bit, and that's crazy because it's only 17:59 to 18 flat. Um, but it kind of unlocks a new level at the high school level. But
Mhm.
I think when you go sub 17:30, you're really starting to knock on the door of like really national caliber like level for girls. Um, and I know you mentioned like your dad who was at the mile markers. Did I guess because I know you said you kind of it didn't really sink in until like the like crossing the finish line, or even at like the 2 mile. But when you hit the 1 mile, did you notice anything like different? Like I guess or even just through the whole race, did you notice like I feel really good or like I'm really moving or like anything like kind of out of the ordinary? Because I mean that is a huge time to drop.
I mean, I think I was definitely on a little bit of a runner's high the whole race, just flying through those curves and those trees. And there was a lot of people in my hometown, like from my hometown, like people that I knew that were supporting me, that were all cheering, and it was pretty like surreal. It was, yeah, I did notice that I felt pretty good. So,
Yeah. I think running on your home course too is such an advantage.
mhm.
Because you just know, you know the ins and outs, you know, like, you know where the holes are, where this dip may be. Maybe I need to go on the left side or the right side. So it definitely helps with that too. I know that you mentioned Wake Med. You didn't really, it's not one of the better courses. So I guess this question, I have an, I have an assumption of what you're going to say, but when it comes to favorite courses, what do you think it would be in North Carolina at least?
My favorite of like the big courses, like the regional, like the invitational courses, would be Ivy Redmond,
Okay.
the state course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
thought for
just
sure you were going to say McAlpine, but
I do like I was gonna say that I like McAlpine. It's like the prettiest course that I've ever I mean, I just love the pond and like the
yeah.
what like the variety of where we run at McAlpine. But I just haven't had like a great race there the past 2 years because we run Wendy's there, and I just for some reason I haven't had a great Wendy's performance yet, but I'm going to try again this year. But I do like McAlpine.
Yeah. Yeah. Ivory Redmond's not bad either. I think, I don't know. I feel like that course just kind of like, I don't know. Maybe it just winds too much. It just winds a little bit, I think, because you like start, then you like come back around. I don't know. And then you hit the road again. And it almost seems like it's just like kind of compact in a way. But then you like look at McAlpine and it's, well, even McAlpine, I think, is, it's not obviously as compact as that one, but you look at WakeMed and WakeMed is literally just one huge loop.
Yeah.
You know, you don't really hit anything twice other than the hill at the end. Um, but yeah, so fifth at Wendy's. Have you seen the race video from that or no? You can say no. You
No.
haven't? It's on the channel. Hey, this is a good thing though. It's literally yeah, so it's on the channel. I encourage you to watch it
Okay.
because you're obviously in it. Um yeah, like and I know this is we're a little off topic, but it's fine. I always try to like kind of showcase it out and I always email coaches about like, hey, like here's the race video from this past weekend. And I guess that one was kind of an earlier one in the season ish. Um, but yeah, you're on that one, so I highly encourage you to go check that race out. And you can see yourself destroying and killing it. Um, when you're running, and again, you mentioned this with your PR, your dad calling out splits. Do you hear people normally like the crowd cheering you on, or are you usually just kind of focused in there a bit?
There's a few voices that I like can specifically pick out in a crowd, which is my dad, because I've been listening to him yell at me in races since I was 8 years old, and Coach Rhonda, my high school coach. She has such a distinct voice. Like I can hear her screaming at me from like miles away. I swear it. Like I love hearing her cheer for me at races because I'm like, oh, she's right there. I know she's watching me. Um, but yeah, I mean, certain parts, like if we're in a quiet part in the woods and there's a person standing there and like I can pick them out, but in the
Yeah.
crowds, I tend to tone it out besides my dad and my head coach and my mom sometimes.
Um, yeah, so cross is a bit I feel like cross is a little different. Because like you said, you kind of get those like those moments where there could be maybe like one or two people on a section on the course and they
Yeah.
say, "Hey, good job" or something. Track, I feel like is a little bit different just because like you're just surrounded by people
Hmm.
24/7 on the track. Is it kind of the same thing too? Like there's still only like those few names that you kind of can hear, or is it like a bit more because it is kind of like you're just running in an oval?
I think for track, I hear less of the voices. I mean, sometimes I don't even hear my dad when I come around because it's just like so chaotic. Um, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no. That's totally understandable. Um, for state, so third. Really good finish there. Obviously, you know, I don't know exactly, what was kind of going through your head, like leading up to that. Was that something that, I mean, I would assume going for the win is always the plan. You always race to win. But what was the game plan heading into that race?
At the end of the race, I really just wanted to get top 10 if I could, because I was 23rd the year before. So I was just trying to hit the top 10 and get on that stage. Um, my feelings going into the race, I was mad. I was just like running mad. I don't know why. I was just moody that day. And I didn't get a good night's sleep the night before, so I was mad about that. And another thing that like fueled my fire that day was mile split. So my time going into the race was the third fastest in the state. But for some reason, they when they posted their rankings, like predictions for states, they
Hmm.
had the same top two girls times, but they bumped me out of the top three rankings. And they put like some other, I can't remember if it was like Sophie Alexander or someone else. Um, but they put her in front of me in the rankings. And I'm like, they think my time is bogus. And
Yeah.
so I was like, I'm gonna go prove them wrong, you know? So that's, yeah.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. That's kind of a question I always ask too about like rankings. Like, do you actually like look into it and whatnot? And you pretty much answered that. You definitely did. Yeah, I mean, but see, that's the thing about rankings too. And I think like if you don't do the research into it and you just look at times and like a little bit of like, oh, she didn't run anywhere near that the rest of the year. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
but if you look at it, like take a second to really dig down deep and look, you would catch it. So, but I mean, hey, you prove them wrong. So I guess that's really what counts at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's pretty
Rankings
much
are
my goal.
rankings. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I was ranked, my my regional meet. I ran like 40th place. I went out too hard. I was leading at the 1 mile and I just died. And
Yeah.
yeah, 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 right.
That
And
happens.
it happens. It was cool. I got some pictures, so it did happen though. And so heading into the states, like it was on a course where like I just struggled for years doing it. And I asked this guy, and he was a state champion on the course. And I asked him the night before, I'm like, hey dude, like I just need some advice. Like, what do you do? Because you obviously have won this thing 4 times. And he's like, yeah, do this and that. And I was like, okay. And I did it, and I ended up getting 10th. So it's like going from 40th at regionals to 10th in the whole state was yeah, obviously. So I always say rankings are just, it's nice to look at, and like if they're done well, you can still kind of get, a rough estimate of like what the field is looking like. But at any given day, anybody can
Yeah.
win or come up there in the pack too. And but I always find rankings to be
I'm not a fan
subjective,
of
but
rankings either.
yeah,
I mean, I don't obsess over rankings. I know that it's just a like a number that somebody ran at some point during the season. Like it's not like season ranking, it was third, but that didn't mean I was like the third fastest girl in the state at the time. Just
yeah,
because you know, like it depends on the day.
it
You
really
don't really
does.
know until you show up at states and you're all racing the same conditions to know
Yeah,
like who's the best of the best.
yeah,
So
that's true too. Because then you have so many different courses as well, you
yeah,
know, and somebody could have ran, you know, 18, 18-10, but on like a really tough course, and then they just show up and dominate states or something.
yeah.
But yeah, no, and then obviously the team finished eighth. Was that kind of something you guys were expecting, or were we expecting maybe a little bit higher? I mean, top 10 is nice.
Yeah, I think we were definitely hoping to get top five, but we were still happy with eighth.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, I can never be wrong with the top 10 finish at states, but I think yeah, top five
Yeah.
is kind of a going rate too, though. Um, track this year. Let's get into that. 506, 1049, 223. I'm assuming you're not really into the 800. Are you an 800? No, no, okay. No,
Nope.
nope, not at all. Most distance runners I talk to, like literally swear, like, yeah, that's just not their event, and they really like the mile. You strike me as more of a 2 miler, but is that accurate, or do you
Yeah.
like the mile more?
I do like the 2 mile more just because I'm better at it. It comes more natural to me. But if I could choose to be better at the mile than I am, I would. Like, I think it's a fun race and I enjoy doing it. I'm just not as good as a lot of other people.
Yeah, and when you kind of choose an event, I know you said obviously the 2 mile just kind of comes a little bit more natural. Is that I guess is that kind of ultimately the decision when it comes down to like, hey, what event am I really gonna kind of put all my marbles into versus like the 8 or the 16? Or are you kind of trying to be that person who doubles more often in the 16 and the 32?
I'm definitely the kind of person that prefers to put all their eggs in one basket and do the best they can in that field, in that event.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
You I want to pick out I want to touch on the PR, the 10:49. Um Now you ran that, and I would say uh Carolina Distance Carnival is definitely a more caliber like field to PR, and it just shows like the depth of the Carolinas. To go from 10:49 one week and then like the week after do 10:52 and get 17th. Um, do you feel like I don't want to say you like missed out on opportunity because I mean going sub 11 is still it's like that's an accomplishment in itself, but kind of almost though like do you think it was just not your day to run a little bit quicker? Because again, like
Yeah.
10:49, it almost I don't want to say alone, but you know, it's not as a high caliber field as Distance Carnival.
Yeah. So I definitely wanted to run faster than that. I was a little disappointed in myself after the carnival, but sometimes when I get into these big fields, um, with a bunch of fast runners, it's easily to let it get to you, which is something I've been working on. But I mean, that day, I mean, I was in it. I had a good like first mile, but once you start to feel the pressure of the group, people are speeding up, you're getting past a little bit. It's hard to stay in it. And that's what happened to me a little bit. I lost some time in the last mile getting in my head. So, yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean it happens, but the it's just it's I can feel the disappointment because it's just like, but it's exciting at the same time too because it's like what could have been, um,
Mhm.
because it's not like you only ran 3 seconds off your PR. Like that's not a bad day at all. Even if you ran 10:59, I would say it's not a bad day at all. Um, I guess really though, what it comes down to is like, do you think there's more in the tank, like left over, um, for a faster 32, or do you think like 10:49 range was maybe kind of the peak for this season?
I wanted to PR in the 2 mile. I just it never really came for me, which I am disappointed. Because my school record is a 10:48.
Oh,
Yeah. So I was trying my heart out to beat that time, but it just never really, I mean, even at regionals, I had like a really good race, but the PR didn't come.
yeah. That's dang, that's so close. But I mean, again, though, you look at that and you're like, well, you get it next. You're gonna get it next
Yeah.
season. Um, just inevitable at that part. Do you have any like favorite workouts? I guess kind of like something that I guess like even maybe I guess leading up to that PR in the 2 mile. Um, is there any like workouts that just make you feel like, hey, like this is the one that I feel really good in, like I'm in shape for, one that you kind of like a little bit more, that kind of tells your shape.
I mean, there's one workout that I always end up doing, like if I have to do a workout on my own, it's 5 by 1,000. And I think it just helps me like get my pace dialed in because I have a good like 1,000 meter like straight outside of my house. And
Nice.
I just, yeah,
Um, what's the rest period on that? Do you know?
it's probably around like 3 minutes.
2 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, thousands are great. I love 1,000 meter repeats. I think it's like it's such a it's long enough to where you can't really like sprint the whole thing,
Mhm.
um, but it's not short enough too where you can just um, you gotta almost kind of plan it out a bit, and it's almost that to that mile mark, and yeah, again, and if you just break it down, and obviously in the 5K, um, but yeah, now you look at that PR and you look at the season you had in the 32. And obviously, we're talking about the 32 quite a bit because that was your main event. States. What was the game? I know. What was the game plan like going into that?
Let me think. Yeah, I wanted to get like top whatever. I was trying not to focus on other people after what happened at the carnival. I was trying to just focus on myself and not let what everybody else was doing affect me. But when it came down to it, like my pace was not dialed after the first few laps, and they the front girls, they brought us back. Like they had us going so slow the first 2 laps. It was really slow, and then they just hit a gear like maybe 3 laps in, and I just wasn't ready for it. I wasn't ready to make that change and stick with the new pace through the rest of the race. It caught me off guard. My body wasn't ready for it, and it just wasn't the day.
Yeah, and it's interesting, and I feel like, and this isn't a knock on you at all, because you have such good times. It's just like
Mhm.
I think it shows people that you can again like you can run these times, but sometimes it just doesn't work out. Nobody's invincible,
Yeah.
um, but it also shows like you you have such like mental toughness to be able to continue like kind of back through some of these races, and it's again it's just kind of inevitable. It's a matter of time when everything just kind of clicks a little bit more. um and even that though too, like I wouldn't even be upset with eighth place finish at state,
I mean,
um
didn't even make it the year before. So I think I am a
yeah.
little too hard on myself in some cases. I mean, I went from not even making it to being eighth in the state. So I acknowledge that.
Yeah, and I think, and North Carolina is um such a like deep field when it comes to running, uh especially right now, that it's like, yeah, you really can't, like, you can't even be upset with it. It just kind of fuels the fire too with it, to kind of get ready for next season. Now, postseason, you ran New Balance, ran the 5K. Um, First off, before we time anything, how the heck was that? Because not many people will ever do a 5K on the track. I've done it personally, uh, like 2 or 3 times solo, and there's something about it that is just like, if you can do it, then like kudos to you, because 12 laps around the track is no joke. How, like, what went into that process of being like, yeah, you know what, I want to do the 5K for that.
I actually thought it was really fun. Surprisingly, I went into it, I was kind of scared because I had never run that far on the track before, but it was actually a blast. Um, and going into it, like, I was just thinking how many 5Ks am I gonna get to run on the track, before I get to college? Like this could be a good opportunity to get like a solid 5K, at least under 18 that people will believe. Um, yeah. And the 5K's just always been my distance. Like ever since I was a kid and I was 9 years old, I always loved 5Ks. I just I just had to choose it. It's just my distance. I mean, I had the opportunity and I took it.
Yeah, I think that definitely put all the haters silenced on that one for sure. 17:45.
Yeah.
What an experience to do. How was it? Just, I guess, even just not even just the race, but just the atmosphere of everything, because it was a huge event. New Balance is such a big, like, I feel like all those track meets now, are just getting built up so much. And there's just so much like hype around them. How was the experience?
I actually wasn't that nervous going into it, but some of the pressure was actually taken off because they combined our two heats. Like they took our two heats of 24 girls and put us all together on the 6 lane track. And I was like, oh my gosh, wait, this is hilarious. Like, this is actually funny that they're doing this. So I was able to have a good laugh about it. I mean, there's so many girls, and we were just all standing there together, like, what is going on? This is hilarious. Like, what the heck? But
Yeah.
it was just like a party, honestly.
Yeah. Wow. I don't think I've ever seen I don't think I've ever seen that deep. That's a lot of people. Um,
Yeah.
was it hard to count like did you guys I gotta assume you lapped anybody? People got lapped, right? Or no?
I don't think I lapped anyone, but I got lapped like right as the first place girl was finishing. Like I was going by with 1 lap to go, right
Yeah.
as the first place girl was finishing.
Yeah, because I feel like it'd be with so many people on the track, I don't know. I feel like it'd just be a little
Yeah.
confusing with like counting the numbers of like what
Mhm.
lap am I on? Because even when I do a solo, I get oh, okay. Like I have my splits written on my arm, so I kind of know like where I'm supposed to be. Um, but yeah, that's a lot of people on the track at one time.
And there was a
Um,
good bit of girls behind me that got lapped before I did, like way before I did.
yeah,
Um, but I actually didn't lose track of my lap, but they did a good job with the lap counter, keeping it like I was able to look at it every lap and be like, all right, that's how many I
this is
covered.
where
Yeah.
yeah. Um, and so you look at that, and I guess kind of going into like now where we are now today. First off, are you on break from that, or were you kind of going right into cross country training?
So I took my break already. My first day back was yesterday.
Nice. How long was that break for?
I was the plan was to do 10 to 14 days, but I ended up doing 11. I don't know, don't ask me why. Um 11's my lucky number, so
There
I was
you
like
go.
I'll take 11 days.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so you started yesterday, or you started on Monday?
My first yeah, my first run was yesterday.
See, that's weird. Usually people start on a Monday, and then you pick number 11. So yeah, it is kind of weird, but it works though. It works. Um, 11, yeah, because and most people too, like 10 to 14 is kind of the sweet spot. I actually haven't heard too many kids taking 10 days. Um, a lot are taking 14. I was kind of always brought up with the 10 to 14. It's
Mhm.
either 10 or 14, so you're definitely unique in 11. So there you go. Um, so yeah, obviously summer training kicked off now. Um, you're ranked. I know we talk about rankings; they don't mean anything. But you are ranked second individually for all of North Carolina girls. Um, when you put all that together, and then the track season you had, you know, what do you think cross country is kind of looking at as far as time wise? I mean,
Yeah.
1720s. I would, and I hate to. If you say it, I'm gonna say it. Um, what are you thinking? What's the time goal? Is there one?
Mainly my goal for the upcoming season is to run consistently under 18 because that's something I haven't been able to do. Um, but I'm hoping I shouldn't have to try too hard to do that. I'm hoping I can just go out and start running sub 18s, just like
Yeah.
how I was doing low 18s last year. And I don't want to go a whole season without PRing. So I'm probably gonna want to go out, choose one race, and then hit it and try to get that sub 17:23. Maybe,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. I
There
mean,
we go.
maybe it'll just come, but I might have to pick a race and hit it.
Yeah, definitely 17. Sub 17:23. Obviously, PR. Let's get under that. I honestly think you're like that PR is just it's so quick.
Yeah.
Like, and it kind of fools you in a way. Um, because you look at like the track times, and I would almost say the track times could have been faster, and you kind of acknowledge that too. Of like
Yeah.
some things just didn't kind of click at times. Um, because I would say like 17, 15, 17, 10, and maybe on a good day, or maybe the day, we talk about that other goal, sub, but um, yeah, we won't talk about it just yet. We'll save it. I'm assuming maybe two Foot Locker, is that kind of a goal, or
Yeah.
NXR, is that kind of on the radar as well?
Yeah, you got it. Either one. I'm not sure yet, but that's the goal for postseason.
Have you thought about doubling?
Oh, I might do that. I'm not sure. I have to talk with my dad about it. I'm sure he
Yeah.
has plans for me.
Yeah, most people kind of pick that just kind of one, but now that they opened it up to like two different weekends, and you kind of have the option to do it. I was talking to somebody the other day about it, and it was kind of like it's kind of the first time he even thought about it too, of like making the double. But is there one that like specifically that you kind of gravitate towards more? I feel like NXR is kind of like everybody loves Nike, and you get all the cool gear, but like Foot Locker is kind of more um, I don't want to say prestige, but I think there's just more history behind it all. So is there
Mhm.
one that you kind of gravitate towards a little bit more?
I think I would have to see where I stand towards the end of the season to really make that decision. But I'm thinking Foot Locker, but I'm really not sure yet. I haven't put much thought into it this
Yeah.
early.
Yeah, it is so early. That's the crazy part too. The track season goes so deep into summertime, and here we are talking about cross country as if but cross country is coming up too, with like a
Mhm.
month and a half before school starts. Um, yeah, I just first off, I just want to say again, thank you for coming on. I think again, just your whole story of starting off and getting to know you a little bit more, and uh both of us being on the same page of that 1723, like it is not a fluke. We both know it's not a fluke.
Yeah.
I just hope that again, like kind of what you said, yeah, let's get under 18, be more consistent like that, and I think you're just going to continue to turn heads and whatnot. I do have one more question. I just kind of because I know you mentioned college. Is that something you're like? Is that something you've thought about, like school wise? Like, is there any school like specifically that you kind of have an eye on, or don't really want to talk about it just yet?
I mean, I'll say, like my dream school is UNC Chapel Hill, definitely. I will say that.
UNC. There you go. There you go. Hey, that's so in state. So you want to stay in state?
I'm good with going out of state, like bordering states, nearby state. Like I won't go too far from North Carolina, but I don't mind if I end up going to like Florida or Kentucky, you know,
Oh Lord, Florida.
South Carolina.
Yeah, Florida could use you. I'm from Florida originally, so I'm a big Gators fan.
Yeah.
They could use you. Yeah,
I wouldn't
but
mind going there.
there you go. Okay, we'll talk to the coaches right now. Start recruiting you. Um, but hey, no, like I said, thank you so much for coming on. I highly encourage you check out the channel. Um, and yeah, definitely during the season, hopefully we can catch back up. I would love to see how things are going, and hopefully this time, you know, come September, October, we're talking about you've been running sub 18 for the whole season.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.